What's going on, guys? So this week I talked about something on the Warrior Soul podcast during our Wednesday Q&A episode. Every Wednesday I take questions from the Warrior Soul Fitness Academy private Facebook group, and then I answer them. And this week somebody asked me about training for guys over the age of 35, past your mid-30s, and what us older guys should focus on. I'm 39 years old. I'm turning 40 in a few months, and I feel really good. Right, I feel really good, but I am not nearly as strong as I was back, even when I was like just 35. Right, back then I was squatting, 400 pounds for reps. I was deadlifting. I was just focused so much on lifting as much weight as possible. But now things are a little bit different. My goals are different. I'm not trying to be a big monster house or anything like that. I'm not trying to friggin', lift a car. I am trying to be as healthy as possible, as lean as possible, and I want to look good. My girlfriend's 10 years younger than me. I want to keep her attracted to all this, right? And that's the thing. Like, I think that's what a lot of us guys who are past our mid-30s, that's what we're looking for. But there's a few mistakes we make, and because we start to slow down, we start to think, oh, you know what, maybe it's time to just do golf and go hit the elliptical. And that's a really, really bad idea. And it's a bad idea for a number of different reasons. So I'm going to give you a few rules that I live by with my training now that I'm a little bit older. And a lot of them are going to be really counterintuitive compared to what you probably heard before. So my number one rule is this: I don't train with machines 95% of the time. And when I say machines, I'm not just talking about the cardio machines. I don't do cardio on an elliptical, but I also try to stay away from any kind of Nautilus machines or machines that are going to guide my form for me about 95% of the time. Most of the time I am working out with a barbell, with a kettlebell, with a dumbbell, or with gymnastics rings, or a sandbag, or something that's not attached to anything else. The gymnastics rings are attached to something stable, but you get my point. They're not a machine, right? I'll even try to opt for cables over a set machine that's going to keep my form and guide my form for me. Now, what are the reasons for that? Well, the number one reason why I stick with lifting weights and why I stick with doing multi-joint movements like deadlifts, squats, overhead presses is because of something called Wolff's Law, right? Now, what is Wolff's Law? Wolff's Law states that your bones will adapt to the demands placed upon them. Now, what does that mean? That means if you're putting big loads on your bones, then your bones are going to get stronger. Now, why is that important? Well, basically, the workouts that I'm doing right now at middle age, they are like insurance policies for my bones when I hit 80 years old, when I hit 90 years old, when I hit 100 years old, because I expect to live to be 100, right? They're making my bones stronger for the long term. And you're not going to get that from lifting on a machine or doing a bunch of leg extensions or doing a bunch of machine shoulder presses. The only way you're going to do that is by loading up the bones, right? And so the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, they're really good for this. You don't have to load up hundreds of pounds. If you're just lifting, if you're deadlifting your body weight, that's a really great way. If you're squatting your body weight, that's a really great way of doing it, right? You're basically placing double the amount of pressure onto your bones when you're just lifting your body weight. You don't have to go to 500 pounds is basically what I'm saying. I need to use less words, sorry. But, that's a really important thing. It's like an insurance policy. But the other reason I don't use machines and I don't do cardio on machines, when I'm doing my cardio, I'm out doing loaded carries with a kettlebell, I'm doing running, I'm going to jiu-jitsu and things like that. The reason why I stay away from the machines is because I don't want to set movement pattern, and that's because of Davis's law. Now, Davis's law states the same exact thing that Wolff's law does, except it's for soft tissue, for your muscles, right? Davis's law says that your muscles are going to adapt along the lines of stress. So when you think about this, if you were doing a repeated movement pattern and you're doing it on like an elliptical, or if you're just doing the treadmill, even if you're just doing running and you're repeating that movement pattern and that's all you do, then what you're doing is you're using some muscles, but you're not using others. And what happens because of that? Well, you start to build muscle imbalances, and you can get overuse injuries. And overuse injuries are some of the most common injuries in active men over 35. They develop them because of muscle imbalances. So I try to stay away from doing any single type of cardio repeated throughout the week. You know, one day I'm running, one day I'm doing jiu-jitsu, one day I'm doing HIIT training, you know, burpees, things like that. And it's really important that you vary that up as you move along. It's also going to do great things for your central nervous system. It's going to improve your heart rate variability and other measures. It's going to help your brain to work better, and it's been demonstrated to raise your testosterone if you're doing a lot of HIIT training. But you know, the point is, stay away from those machines. If you think you're going to be less likely to get injured because of those machines, the opposite is true. Varying your movement patterns is going to help you to keep from getting injured. Working on your mobility and things like that. All right. So those are the two big things that I wanted to slam home for you today. If you're a guy over the age of 35, even if you're in your early 30s, I mean, these are rules that even younger guys could follow. But especially for us older guys, it's really important that we don't retreat to golf, and we don't retreat. Golf is a great sport. I'm not knocking golf, but it's really important that we keep our activity levels up and we keep doing varied things. Another big thing you should be doing is incorporating new activities, learning new things. If you've always wanted to try a martial art, now's the time to try it. If you wanted to try yoga, doing yoga would be great for you, right? Dance, things like that. Some of these Ido Portal movement patterns that you see out there on the internet, those would be great as well. Tactical shooting, that kind of stuff. Start to do more of these other things and incorporate those into your fitness routine. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you want to catch more of all this information, I'm going over questions each week on the Warrior Soul podcast every Wednesday. On Mondays, I'm bringing on an expert of some sort. This past week, we had Kevin Ashworth, an expert in dealing with anxiety. And he's a really, really awesome guy. Had a great podcast with him. You should definitely check that out. And on Fridays, we're doing our Friday Warrior Notes. We're talking about an in-depth discussion about a specific issue, usually a mentally based issue, that I'm covering there too. You can find us on iTunes, on Spotify, on Google Play Music, on Stitcher, or you can head over to warriorsoulgoji.com and check out the podcast there. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.